So technically they're the host, right? But what becomes interesting for us as interpreters, I think, is that I, as an interpreter, can rent or buy the time, buy the Zoom platform, or buy the use of the Zoom for myself as an entrepreneur, as an interpreter, and tell my client, listen, I'll have my own operator, I'll have the platform, and we'll do it. You'll do it through me, right? That could be an option that's really interesting, right? And what becomes interesting as well is that let's put it like it really is. You could cut the middleman, right? Wouldn't you want to have a client directly come to you instead of going to an agency or going to another, a third party, right? So we're talking business here, right? We're all in this for business, right? Tatsy, yes, host should do it, but if you are an agency, then you can do it. You can do it if you bought it, right? Exactly. But it's not only up to the agencies to buy the platform, right? I mean, as an interpreter, I know friends who are using the pro form of Zoom for their own purposes. So I could buy it as an interpreter, right? I could buy the right to use it, whether for a month or whatever the platform costs. I have no idea about the costs of the platform, but that could be something that we could get into as well. So, so anybody else have any comments that we could say here while I'm still waiting for my two people? I guess maybe I made a mistake on the time. I thought it was going to be 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and they were saying 10 o'clock Brazil time, but I know Brazil has three time zones. So anyways, but that's okay. I'm with you guys, so that's fine. I see the option is already being tossed around in the local community. Exactly. So it is there. It is there. Hey, MF, glad to have you on board. I'm Mike the interpreter. We're just talking about Zoom here. I was waiting for somebody, one of my colleagues that used Zoom earlier this week with a colleague. They were two booth partners and they used the Zoom, and I wanted to discuss online how that went. And we're already a bit discussing and touching the points. When you go through the feed here, you see a lot of interesting little points. So I see you're saying that, okay, so it's already being tossed around. Hey, I see, you want to come online? What if I pick on you? Pick on you. I'm going to pick on you. Do you want to come on? If I pick on you, do a request, and if you do a request, then I'll know that you'll want to come on and tell my other buddies come on, because you seem to know quite a lot with what you've done already. You see, because actually I've used it, but only on a very small, a few people. And I wasn't really on it as an interpreter. And when I did need to do a bit of interpreting in between that small group of 4 or 5 people, I would do it consecutively, and I'd tell the main speaker to stop. And it wasn't really for an assignment. It was more between friends, So that is interesting. I find that the Zoom option could be interesting depending on what the twist is and what's going to be going on. So let's see here. Okay, I see. Just for a bit, not dressed properly. I know. Look, I dressed up for you guys. I had a T-shirt on at the beginning of the day, and my wife said, "You should dress up. You're going on TV." I said, "Honey, it's just an IG live." She insisted, so here I am. I'm all dressed up. So, S. Lopez, why don't we have a Zoom meeting instead of an IG live? Yeah, we could have done that as well, but I didn't know anybody personally who had the Zoom, and I don't have it myself. We are only 8 people at the moment. Does someone have a paid account? Probably do. Hey, thank you. I'm looking sharp. Yeah, because of my wife, right? But I want to do it on the live because I had promoted it on my IG account, said that I was going to be doing it tonight. I just hope that everybody understood. I said 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is right now. So, so I see. You want to come on or not? I see Panama. Come on in. Let's see. Well, you know what? I'm going to pick on you. I'm going to see if you're going to come in, or can I? Claudio. No, let's see here. Where are you? Right here. Boom. You don't have to say yes. I'm not gonna feel rejected or anything. So how do I join it? Well, I just clicked on you. You should get a request. There you go. Okay.
Hey.
So how you doing, friend?
Good. I'm doing good. Sorry,
so what's your name?
Crap.
Don't worry. I got myself a little lighting here, so it's okay. So what's your name?
My name's Jesus. I'm a partner at in an agency down here in Panama. It's called LC
cool.
Panama.
Okay, so are you going to be talking to me as an interpreter or as an agent?
I'm going to go with talking to you as an interpreter.
Okay, cool. All right, all right.
Yeah.
All right. So we won't need to name the agency then. Anyways, so yeah. So what you seem to have had a good experience with it, and you know pretty much all the talking points that we're worrying about as interpreters, right? So what's your point of view of what you've seen to date?
I think that it works pretty well. It does the job. It's not comfortable at all. Like I'm guessing you've already worked or either tried VoiceBoxer, Kudo.
No, Kudo I've done. Kudo I've done.
Yeah.
VoiceBox I haven't done. I've done
Okay.
Introcido.
Which one?
Introcido. I always mix up the name.
Interactio?
Yeah, Interactio. That one I've been on a few times. Oh, losing you there. Sorry. So is that my internet or your internet? We'll see if it comes. If you stay on, it stays on. If it doesn't, that's what I had. That's the problem I had today. But now I'm on Wi-Fi, so I shouldn't be having this problem. So, Jesus, I'm not here. Okay, so he left. Okay, so I'm guessing, Jesus, that your internet wasn't too hot. Maybe. Let's see here. Requesting. Okay, I'm gonna try. There's a request coming in. I'm gonna try it. Tina, Tutin. Sorry. Okay, so let's do Tutin. Sorry about that, Jesus. I'm guessing. Okay, waiting for Tutin. Tutin. You waved at Tutin. Yes, I did. Oh, waiting for Tutin. Okay. So I don't know if it's okay. Connecting. Here we go. My name is Mike LeMay, the interpreter. For those that didn't know, bam. Hashtag Got Sauce Interpreters. Yes. I guess that's my brand now. I don't know. I should put a trademark on it, maybe. Eh? So connecting. Let's see. It's turning. Sorry, I accidentally switched. Oh, there you are.
Working now?
Oh, okay. Oh, it's you. You have another account.
I do.
Cool.
I switched accounts. Yeah,
Yeah. I
that's
have
a
to
company
say.
account.
Oh, cool. I have 3 accounts too, so that's cool.
Do you?
Yeah. All right. Okay. So get back on that point that you were saying there. So yeah, it's uncomfortable. What do you mean by uncomfortable? In the sense of like the other platforms are more user friendly, of course.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Way more. Way more. So the Zoom feature only has you can only pick the channel you want to your outgoing channel. This is the only thing you can pick as an interpreter. Yeah, so say for me, I would get to pick English or Spanish. For you, you pick English or French. And it looks kind of like a slide bar, like on your iPhone, and then you just switch, right? Switch languages.
Okay.
There's no mute.
Kind of.
Well, it has the mute button, right? The Zoom mute button.
Yeah.
And then switching interpreters, you can't do it because there's no way for you to listen to what is going on. So you don't know when your colleague is ready to go, is ready to switch.
Exactly.
So what we did today, because what's happening down here is these are the two things that are, ideas that are being tossed around down here. Is one is either a bunch of interpreters put some money down and get the business account, right? If we have enough business, maybe that's worth a shot. Or the agency can purchase it.
Yeah.
And then if the agency purchases it, then you have to figure out how to bill it, because the way Zoom works is not the same as the interpreting platforms that are out there. So that's an issue.
Yeah.
That's an issue. So Yeah. So what we did today during practice was I was interpreting using my computer with a wired internet, right, with an Ethernet
Yeah.
cable. But then I was connected to the same Zoom meeting with my phone using a
Oh,
different name, but I would
okay.
keep. So basically, your phone, you use your phone like kind of like a receiver,
Yeah.
and you just listen to floor on the phone, and then you're interpreting on the computer. So then you can
So it's
hear
kind
your
of like a
phone.
backup. Yeah.
It, it's kind of like a backup. So today they called it, the agency called it, um, like the monitor. Some interpreters were calling it like the receiver kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's more like
Yeah.
a monitor. So it's obviously when you're in the booth, if you and I are in the booth, I can hear you. I can hear you talk. You're sitting next to me, right?
Yeah.
But here
Right.
I'm at home, and you're you're at home somewhere else. So how can I hear what you're doing? Or what if you get stuck? What if you start coughing? What if you have to step out and go to the bathroom? You know?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
so you use your phone as a backup to know what's going on with you, and then you chat saying, "Hey, Mike, you ready? I'm
Yeah.
ready. 10 seconds. Go. Blah blah blah."
Exactly. That's what I heard. Actually, my colleagues were using their phone. Either they were using, FaceTime or
Right.
another chat, right, to stay
Right. Right.
connected. And actually, even as a backup, I was on the other day. I won't name the platform. I was on another platform, a very good platform, and the other interpreter insisted that we take a backup plan, and we ended up doing FaceTime. It turned
Okay.
out that it was a very good plan because that day that platform crashed. Not because of the platform itself, but because the client who had hired the services of the platform didn't expect so many people coming on. They were only expecting 1,000 people, and it turns out they had like 3,000 people came on. It
Whoa.
crashed. Yeah, and so what
Whoa.
happened was even us, the interpreters, our system crashed as well. So
Wow.
I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was my end. I thought, okay, my computer's freaking out. I turned my
Right.
computer off, reboot it, thinking the problem's on my side, right? So I'm telling through my FaceTime to my booth partner and saying, listen, keep the line, keep talking because there's something going on here. And then suddenly, whoops, a few minutes after, because with my booth partner, I had agreed to a 20-minute interval. And my other booth partners, the other languages, they had all agreed to 30 minutes. So suddenly, 10 minutes later, boom, 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 all on the message board. Everybody was panicking. I can't switch. The thing's not working. We're losing video. We're
Oh
losing audio.
no.
So I kind of started it 10 minutes earlier. So I thought that I was the one who was the mistake, right? But all that to say that we had a backup. I had an iPhone and we were doing FaceTime together with my booth. So we were able to communicate and not freak out. And he was able to continue until his system crashed as well. So I think that using another system to communicate is a good backup plan for us as interpreters who work remotely, regardless of the platform, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you would go about that because all these platforms, all of them but Zoom, they charge you per day. They charge you
Okay.
per day, um, unless the client has Microsoft Teams with the Kudo app in it. But I don't know. I don't understand how that works. I mean,
I heard
apparently
about
you
that.
have to
Yeah.
have. You've done that?
No, I've heard about it. Actually today I was looking on Twitter and I saw
Yeah.
somebody comment about that, but I don't know the details.
Me neither. I mean, from what I've been able to find out, like I've done a little bit of research. All I know is that you can add Kudo to your Microsoft Teams account, but it won't work unless you have a certain level, I guess, or type of Microsoft account.
Okay.
I don't know how high you have to go, maybe like business or something, I think it's called.
Yeah. There must be
But
tiers, different
yeah,
tiers.
they got
Yeah.
tiers. But after you have that, this is a part where I get confused. When you have it, how do you set up the Kudo meetings? Do you not have to pay Kudo for the service anymore? Have you already paid for it since you
I don't know.
paid
I,
for the
I think that the
Microsoft
client,
account?
yeah, I'm thinking from what I've been on, two or three of those, the preparation Kudo, as a Kudo interpreter, you have to practice two or three times with them pro bono, to get to know the
Yeah,
platform and all that, which is
yeah,
fine. And while you're on it, you're hearing the pitch, the sales pitch that they're making, right? And So that part wasn't totally clear to me either. But it seems to me that companies who, let's say, a specialized company has their very own specialized interpreters, right, in-house. And what they do is they buy the rights to the platform in-house. And they do what they want, when they want, with their own technicians. Kudo trains their in-house interpreter and in-house team of this company, XYZ, and they essentially buy the right to use the platform. So they're not being billed. I mean, they bought the platform or whatever agreement they have to license, to use the license, whatever. But it's essentially, it becomes a property of that company for the year that they bought the license, right? So then that company can use it. Because that's what one
is that what they call a widget?
I have no idea. But I know it's being done because the interpreter I was actually working with at one time. He told me about that, and he said that this company had bought the license and that they were using it in-house. So I think that Kudo is selling their platform or selling the license to their platform for a time period,
right,
and they can do what they want, but it works the Kudo way. So.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
But then they wouldn't. So a Microsoft Teams user that has the Kudo ability would have their own interpreters, basically.
I don't know.
So this
that's
is what
the part I don't know. I don't know about
going
that
on.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would be very interesting, right?
Okay.
I mean, that would be. I guess that would be an arrangement between Kudo, head office, and whatever arrangements they took with those other computer companies, right? But that would definitely be an interesting thing,
let me add
right?
this.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I heard this. There was this webinar from an Argentinian Translators Association. They had a lady from Spain talk about RSI. She said something that was pretty interesting. She said you can use Zoom. Some companies use Zoom, but for the interpretation capability, they bring in or they use another platform. But I don't know how that works. I don't know how you have two platforms.
Yeah, I don't know.
One of them, it helps you with the interpretation, and the other one is for just the video conferencing, because you can't put one inside of the other one. I mean,
no, I haven't heard of that. That's the first time I hear that. But
I don't know what she meant by that.
Let's say if we're going to use an example of one of the platforms, okay, let's say Kudo, okay, because Kudo, what is fabulous about Kudo, we all know, is that they have an amazing team, they have an amazing setup. You see either the speaker or the floor, and when they're switching to the PowerPoint, you get to see the PowerPoint presentation, which Zoom doesn't do, right? There has to be somebody local who's actually taking their little cheap camera and they're moving it, or it's happened to me where they take the laptop and they move the laptop in the direction of the PowerPoint, and you can't even see the PowerPoint anyways, and then the guy moves it back to the front of the speaker on the floor, and it's like it gets all screwed up, right? So Kudo does that well, and also the other platforms do that well also. Now with Zoom, you don't have that unless you have somebody who's really smart, who's going to administrate. I was on one. Well, I wasn't administrating the Zoom. I was just participating in it as a listener, but I could tell there was a great team because there was many people speaking on the Zoom. And you could tell that there was somebody controlling the mics, muting when needed to be muted, and they were showing there was like screen sharing and certain such where we were seeing a computer presentation put on the computer screen. So there was professional work put into it, but it was using Zoom, and that Zoom was even being put on Facebook Live. So it was a Zoom inside of Facebook Live, but built up in a professional manner. So I know that's being done because I've seen it.
Wow.
So, and they even had an interpreter at that time, but the thing was they had only one interpreter that lasted for the whole hour, so there was no switching being done. But it was on Facebook Live. It was Zoom. It was the professional Zoom because there was thousands of people. There was over 3,000 people watching this webinar. So it worked. It worked very fine. I was there for the whole hour, and it even lasted more than an hour, and then after that, they didn't need the interpreter anymore. So I know that's possible to be done. I just don't know the technicalities of it, and that's why I was going to have Carlos here that was supposed to come on, and I guess we screwed up our times. But it's good to have your experience as well, because that's what we want to know, right? We want to hear it from the mouth of an interpreter. We don't want to hear it from the mouth of, the Zoom exec, because from what I'm seeing, Zoom did not hire a professional interpreter to counsel them on what to do on this. They jumped on it. Okay, let's put an interpretation button, but they had no idea what they were getting into. Let me just read the question here. Tabby says, actually, the slides can be shared on Zoom with no problem, just but sharing your screen. And yes, Facebook Live can be done if you pay a little extra. Exactly. So, okay, so I knew about the slides. Yes, you could click sharing. I mean, even the Kudos platform has that as well. The host can control switching between the speaker or the floor and the slides, right? So Zoom has that, but oftentimes the people on Zoom, they're just a normal guy in his computer at home, and he uses Zoom maybe once in a while, and he doesn't know all the the ins and outs of Zoom. So
yeah, but there's something important that we should all remember. Zoom is not meant to be a platform for big events.
Yeah.
Whereas Interprify, Kudo, VoiceBoxer, they were actually designed for what is now being called the hybrid system.
Exactly.
Where you're somewhere else in a studio, call it a Kudo studio or whatever, but then the event is somewhere else. You're
exactly.
In Canada,
yeah.
Right? So maybe they're in I don't know, maybe they have the event in Halifax and you're in, or in Quebec.
Exactly.
And you're somewhere else. You're in Vancouver in a studio. Then Zoom was not designed for that.
Exactly.
But you can do it. You just need a lot of equipment to stream stuff. You would need to stream the event into a Zoom meeting. And
that's where it gets more technical. Yeah.
Feature.
But I mean, everybody else is doing it. Hey, listen, Jesus, I just saw Carlos hop on, and he's the guy I wanted to speak to. Would you mind if I cut you off and I bring him on? Thank you so much for coming on.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I actually got to go.
Okay, no problem, man. Thank you so much. It was really insightful what you were saying. Thanks, Jesus. God bless.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so I'm going to bring in Carlos. There we go. Okay. Thank you, Jesus. I really appreciate that. That was a great sharing. Was cracking up at the beginning there, but after, hey, Carlos.
Hey there.
How you doing, brother? Brother from another mother. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So how you doing, man? How's it going in Brazil right now? Give us a little insight on what's happening over there before we get into the subject with you there.
Yeah. I mean, well, COVID-19 wise, things are complicated. There are 2 cities where the whole health system has already collapsed.
Wow.
And so did the funeral system. I mean, they are unable to bury people.
Really?
There's a long line
oh
of
my gosh,
bodies.
Wow.
And
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, the situation gets worse and worse by the day. Here in Rio, we are in social isolation. At least up until the end of May.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And what about Vancouver?
Vancouver, I don't know too much about, but here in Quebec.
Oh yeah, you're in Quebec. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Here in Quebec, it's social distancing. Obviously, we're supposed to stay home. There's special workers that are allowed to work. There's lineups to go into the supermarkets. You have to wait 15, 20 minutes in line. 6 feet apart from people.
Yeah.
People wearing masks, wearing rubber gloves, and stuff like that. But it's not crazy yet. It hasn't been like total crazy lockdown. I've heard of some people getting tickets. $500 to $1,000 tickets for not obeying the distancing between people. But besides that, honestly, it's not that crazy. It's not that crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I go out safe. I go for a walk around the block. Me and my wife for a half-hour walk. We come back, and
But in Rio, you can get ticket. I mean, you will get ticketed if you are out and about without a mask. So yeah, things are starting to get crazy here.
Okay, all right. So, anyways, you got to stay safe, man. You and your family. Which gave me a lot of insight, but I wanted to have your live experience because I was chatting a bit with on WhatsApp with your booth partner,
Monica.
Monica, exactly, Monica. Sorry, Monica. And she was telling me a bit about it, and I said, "Wow!" I said, "I want to hear about this because
that becomes very interesting. Now, we know there's different problems. Again, I'll probably be repeating ourselves what I said with Jesus, but I see a lot of new people coming on, so it'll be a good thing. Zoom sounds like a good platform, a good possibility. Now, there's a few weaknesses, and I wanted to hear that from you, the pros and the cons of what you experienced as a professional interpreter and having a booth partner using Zoom. So go ahead, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, there are two main issues that I've detected. First, you are unable to hear your booth partner.
Bam. Yeah.
Right?
Big problem.
So, yeah, big problem. How do I know when Monica is speaking? I see that she has muted her mic. That's how I know she is not rendering her translation. Then I start rendering my translation. Of course, we communicate via WhatsApp. What we agreed today was, well, whenever they switch speakers, we switch interpreters.
Okay.
Right? Because they were supposed to speak for every 3 minutes.
Okay.
And then every 3 minutes there was a new speaker, so we would switch together with them. Because you are unable to listen to the other interpreter.
Yeah.
And the second problem is there was no relay option.
Yeah.
I'm aware of some groups of interpreters here in Brazil that are calling and emailing Zoom because, as you've said, it wasn't built by interpreters. It was built by developers.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Which, of course, we love. Thank you so much for developing the tool. But
yeah, amen. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, it does have multiple glitches, you know. And not being able to listen to your partner is a major glitch because we don't know what they're saying. We are unable to help them. What if they're using a different term? Yes, please.
I had because Jesus said that what they did for that is that Jesus signed in to the Zoom as another person with another, and he used his phone as a monitor to listen to. He clicked on to the channel of the interpreter, so he was able to hear his booth partner as a participant. So that's maybe an idea to get around it.
That's the workaround for the relay option.
Yeah.
I had a gig once, and we had a Spanish, a Portuguese, and a French interpreter.
Wow.
Yeah, and whenever someone spoke French, I had to listen to the English rendering from the French interpreter. So I was logged in via computer and also via mobile phone. Then on my mobile, I could listen to the English interpretation and then interpret into Spanish.
Yeah.
You know, so it is one of the glitches that the tool still has. Hopefully, it will change.
Yeah, I hope so.
You know, because I think that I mean, given that people are getting, interpreters are getting in touch with them and telling them, listen, you have to include this feature in the future. Probably they're going to develop that.
Yeah, I know they're trying. They're trying. Got to give them, you got to give them what they. I'm sure they're getting, bombarded by interpreters because we all want to use it because it seems to be a good option for us. Like I discussed with you in our private group, where we were saying that Zoom would seem interesting because we're actually cutting out the middleman, right? We would become the end. It would be the client and the interpreter. So thus more money for the interpreter. Absolutely. And the reasonable price of using Zoom on a, let's say, per use, or if we were interpreters that would use it oftentimes, maybe you would want to, buy the rights for a month or whatever the package plans are, right?
Yes, for a month. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have a per use plan. So if you want to use the interpreting option, you have to buy to purchase the Pro account, which costs $14.99 American dollars.
Which is not bad. That's a good price.
Which is not bad. And then you have to buy the webinar option. That's the one that has the interpreting add-on, which costs $40 a month.
Oh, I heard. Okay, I misunderstood them because I heard that you could have the Pro and then pay an extra $4 to have the interpreting option added. So I guess I'm wrong. So it wasn't
I'm not aware of that.
Okay, so you're saying $40 more for the interpreting option to be added to your pro account.
Yes,
To have
because
the
then you're going to have the webinar option, and the interpreting add-on is included within the webinar option.
Okay,
Right.
so
Let me
that becomes
try.
a bit more pricey. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, that would mean, okay, so let's say it was $40 plus $15. Let's say it was 50. Let's say it was $60 a month.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're using it just for that event, you could charge that to your client, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
if you have
it's
regular
not bad.
clients, no,
It's
not
it's not
bad.
bad for the interpreter still.
No.
I just want to see, hey, do you know the answer to this question? I see one guy is asking, hey guys, what platform did they use on the last G20? Do you know that answer?
No, I don't. Probably
Okay, so I don't know. Sorry.
but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. So JCAW27. Sorry, man. We don't have the answer to that. Maybe somebody in the chat does. If you do have an
Yeah.
answer to that, well, there you go. So yeah. So exactly. So, but still, so we're saying that Zoom is still an interesting option if they can
It
get
is.
their act together. You know what? When I was pushing this, for tonight, I even tagged Zoom. I was hoping that Zoom was going to show up online. That would have been interesting to have somebody to listen to the point of view of interpreters that are using their platform, because
Yes.
it still seems like if they fixed a few, if they fixed the handover, if they fixed having a separate channel to be able to listen to, or the floor, or your booth partner, man, it doesn't seem that would take too much, computer
I don't
savvy to
think
fix
so.
that problem. You
I
know what I
don't
mean?
think so. Even because other platforms do have this feature enabled already, and what I'm doing is I'm contacting my clients personally. I'm emailing them. Like, I don't want to send them a collective email where their email address will be like in the blind copy.
Yeah.
No, I'm sending
Yeah.
a personalized email.
Yeah.
Hey man, hey man.
Yeah.
Hey Mike, this is Carlos, the interpreter. We worked together in Collaboration America 2017. You might remember my services. Have you heard of Zoom? They do have the simultaneous interpreting feature enabled. Here's a demo.
Exactly.
And I sent them a demo video of the platform switching across languages. And I'm available if you need me. And today's gig was a result of one of those emails.
Wow, good for you, man. Awesome.
Thanks. Yeah. And when we booked a meeting last Friday, and then when I joined the meeting, I think they were talking to another interpreter before me, and the guy said, "Well, what I do is what Jesus has just said. What I do is people log in via Zoom and others log in via Hangouts. Then I listen to Zoom and translate via Hangouts, which is free. It has no cost for you.
Yeah.
But man, that's a lot of work for people to connect to two different platforms, right?
Exactly.
Then I explained to her, listen, you can use just Zoom for your gig, and you'll be able to have like up to 100 people, I guess. I think so. And it's very cheap because the original budget was like at one of the most expensive hotels in São Paulo, with coffee break and the whole hotel structure, paid tickets for people to come from other countries. You can compare that to $55 a month.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So that's one of the perks. That's one of the advantages we are working on with clients. I mean, you're saving a lot of money by using Zoom. And if you don't want to buy the license, we can offer you we do have a license, and you can use ours. Of course, we're going to charge a fee, but
yeah, but like Jesus was saying, and I think we've discussed this between ourselves at Hot Sauce Interpreters and the gang, where we were saying that even if we got a bunch of interpreters together to work as a coalition, let's say, there's no agency involved. There's just a bunch of, I do French, you do Portuguese, one does Spanish, and we get together and say, guys, we're going to
we're going to buy this platform and use it, and we'll figure the price between ourselves and offer that. So that sounds like a good plan. You know,
It does.
It sounds like a good plan.
It absolutely does. You know. Hey Ahmed.
Yeah.
Hello, Kair. Mike and Carlos, how are you? We're fine, man.
Come on, man. Awesome. Glad to have you on, man.
Yeah, I love him too.
Yeah, see, he's saying he believes, because I discussed with him privately about this, and he is saying that he thinks that Zoom, if they play their cards right, they could shut down a lot of the other platforms, or they could bring down the price of all those other platforms. Really interesting, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's their competitive advantage. Price.
Yeah.
You know, there will be many free platforms just like the WhatsApp and YouTube. Yeah, but none of them. Yeah, Ahmed, but none of them offer simultaneous interpreting. You know. Yeah, Hakel, we missed up the time. I think there's a 1 hour difference between Canada and Rio. I mean, Quebec and Rio. We thought it was a 2 hour difference, but
yeah, that's what. Anyways, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Here we are.
We had hey, but I just want to say, because I started at 8 o'clock, so that means we have 10 minutes left.
And then
what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back on. Okay, so if everybody listen up, if it cuts in, I'm going to try it, Rachel. I'm going to try to save it, because suppose I could save this. I'll try to save it, and then I'll come back on right away, so we can all come back on. Okay, just in case it stops at 8.
Yo Rincon is asking, the regular Zoom is not suitable for simultaneous. Right? It's all okay for.
You like to do, because if you have many people I was on another Zoom call where there was a lot of people talking at the same time. They were leaving the mics open. Everybody, it was cacophonie, we say in French. It was crazy. You have to have a moderator who controls the mic.
That's one of the points. We always need a host and one or two co-hosts who will mute people's mic all the time. You know, because otherwise you're working, and then that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. It goes crazy. Yeah,
it's impossible to work.
Yeah. So that's what I was discussing with one of the hot sauce interpreters, was that if, let's say, I'd say, okay, I need French and Portuguese. So we would be working together, and I would hire one of our other hot sauce interpreters and say, listen, you're going to be the moderator. I'm going to have the platform. I'm going to control the platform, and you're going to work. You're going to work the administration while me and Carlos are interpreting. So that becomes interesting, where we could. That's what I'm liking about what's going on right now. There seems to be this possibility where interpreters can work together, instead of having the middleman there, which becomes interesting for us, right?
Very, very interesting. And one point here, interpreters, please do not accept the role of host or co-host if you are interpreting.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can't do both.
It's too much to handle.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of responsibility. If anything goes wrong, they're going to blame you because you said you would be able to handle the situation.
Exactly.
Right?
So you need to have a third party. You need to have a third person. Yeah.
Usually, in my case, my client was the host, and she was able to mute everyone, and people were able to start to join the meeting with the video enabled. There's this option on Zoom as well. So yeah, I mean, so far it is. I don't mean it's the best platform, but it's the cheapest, and it works. There are glitches to be worked on.
Yeah.
Right, but I still think Interprefy is the best platform.
Yeah, I haven't tried that one yet. You've been on it?
Yeah.
The only reason I haven't tried it yet is I didn't. I have to upgrade my computer. They didn't. My computer didn't pass their test. It passes for everybody else, but not them. Which I understand their standards are a bit higher, and I needed to have the Sennheiser earphones. So I'll get that eventually. When I do, I'll call them back. So, but so I haven't used it. How was that platform?
The platform, the reason why I think it's the best platform is It takes less clicks to complete actions. In Kudos, for instance, you have to click one or two or three buttons or three different places to switch to handover, for instance. And on Interprefy, there's a handover button.
Okay.
Just click there and zoom, gone.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, in a way, though, I like because I've used the Kudos handover button, and it's like the first click is you're telling your booth get ready. You're telling your booth get ready, and you get the little message that flashes and it says get ready.
Yeah.
Are you ready for it? You can click on it right away if you want to take the mic, or you can wait like the 60 seconds, and then 60 seconds the switch goes over automatically, which is not bad. I don't find that a bad option. I kind of liked it.
It isn't bad at all. It isn't bad at all. I mean, I am a Kudos certified interpreter. I haven't used it yet, but I think on Interprefy they have a chat, and they also have like a countdown. And Kudo, you know, the interface is more simple, more it's clean.
Yeah.
You know, but
does it have the same option as? Does it have the same option as seeing the floor and then seeing like the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Interpreters do not connect via video at all, which is great.
Oh, you don't connect video? Well, then how do you see what's going on?
That's the point. They log into a computer via TeamViewer with full access to your computer.
Oh.
Right? So if anything goes wrong, technicians will work remotely on your computer. That's why they require a cabled internet, so they're able to work on everything so fast.
Ah, okay.
Right? Hey, Rudy, love to see you here, man.
Yeah, hey, Rudy. Good to see you, man.
Yeah. Guys, we're probably going to switch off at...
yeah, it's probably going to cut off in about 5 minutes. But when it does cut off, I'm going to reload. I'm going to come back on again, so everybody come back on. So it's going to cut about 5 minutes here.
Yes.
So yeah, but
that's
something that I don't know if I want somebody coming into my computer. You know what I mean?
I do, but they require full access to your computer, right? It's required. It is a minimum requirement. You know.
Interesting.
And
I won't leave my passwords in there then.
Yeah, and they're able to see. I mean, they're able to work on your computer while you were rendering your integration or whatever, right? Anyways, it is a good platform, though. I'm not sure about their pricing. You know, I tried to get in touch with them, but they just won't answer. Rincon says, "Have you thought about teaching an interpreter course on Zoom?" Yeah, I mean, there are webinars on how to use Zoom. You know, it's very easy. You know,
Hey, Robin, how you doing, man?
Hey, Robin. It's very. No, it isn't intuitive. But if you click on the right buttons, you'll get there.
Yeah.
Right? It isn't really intuitive. It's not the best word to define Zoom, especially the remote interpreting feature. But once you get it to work, man, it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, one more thing. Originally, on Zoom, if you're listening to the interpretation channel, you'll listen to 80% of the interpreter's voice and 20% of the original, of the floor.
Okay. On what platform is this?
Zoom.
Okay, Zoom. So you hear a bit of the floor still.
You you can mute the floor if you want to. There's an option for each user to mute the floor, the sound. But originally you listen to 80% of the interpreter's rendering and 20%, and they say it's for tone.
Okay, my timer tells me I have a few seconds left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this conversation, and I'm going to reopen another one, guys. Okay, so come back on, everybody. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, but if we can't, we can't. But if we can't help ourselves, why not? And that's what the whole point of this discussion tonight. the right way. So that's why maybe we could continue on the subject of what you were, the pros and cons of Zoom.
Yeah, we tested out another platform last week here in Brazil called Chorus Call, right? And here's how it works. You get a link for each language, right? Interpreters get a private link to interpret from, say, English into Portuguese. Speakers get another link where they're able to see each other, right, and interact between each other.
Okay.
And we log in to the speakers link via Google Chrome.
Okay.
Right? And we have to log into the interpreters link via another browser, say Mozilla Firefox.
Yeah.
Right? And then as we speak via link, people are able to listen to us. Right? The point about this platform is that it is very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Right? As we said, Zoom costs $55 American dollars a month, and this platform would cost the same, as much as $700 a day.
Yeah, that's a big difference. That's a huge difference.
But you do have online technicians working on the platform like all the time.
Yeah.
Right. If anything goes wrong, technicians will be able to work on the platform remotely.
Yeah.
And they don't have, and plus, they don't have to log into your computer via TeamViewer with full access.
Yeah. I think Robin would have something to say about that. Losing our liberties.
Robin, okay, I'm gonna cut myself off. And Monica, why don't you join the talk?
Yeah, Monica, would that be good? Would you like to have your point of view coming on here? If I bring you in, just tell me a yes or a no first of all there.
Yeah.
Or else I'll let you continue there, Alberto. So Monica, give me a heads up here. Okay.
Bye.
Okay, so I'm going to bring Monica on. Okay, let's see here. Monica. Okay, I'm bringing Monica on. She was the second interpreter. She was Carlos' partner. So let's hear her point. Hey, Monica, how you doing, man?
Evening, guys. How are you doing?
Awesome. Good to have you with us tonight. So tell us.
Good to be with you. Yes.
Your side of the story. So what the pros and cons of the way you saw it as an interpreter?
Everything happened so fast, and at the same time, Carlos and I, we worked out everything just fine. It made a great team, very synchronized. Like he says in Portuguese, a peteca não caiu. So we kept the ball going back and forth. It was excellent. And I'm looking forward to the next gig with this because
awesome,
it's super.
Awesome.
Yes.
So what was your experience like? He spoke a bit about how you guys were doing the switch. You were looking at each other's color of the mic, whether it was red or green.
Yes.
Now, explain that because there's new people just came online here watching us.
Sure.
So explain how you guys worked it out.
Sure. I think it worked because we had an audience of about 40 people in a Zoom meeting mode, not a webinar mode, and everybody had a chance to speak.
What's the difference between a webinar mode and a meeting mode?
Okay, the meeting mode is available to all the free accounts. You just have the possibility to have meetings with many people, and they can all speak. They have the freedom to mute their mic or activate their camera whenever they wish, unless there's someone in charge of the meeting and it's agreed before.
Okay.
But when you have the webinar mode, when you are invited to a webinar, you don't have that much freedom. So you cannot really talk because you have that camera and mic inhibited, and you have to ask for permission to speak. So the host will have control of everything.
I understand.
In this case, we had a meeting going on instead of a webinar because everybody was going to speak or make interferences, and it was good because considering they'd be switching people all the time. One would talk for 3 minutes and then the other one for next 2 minutes and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
We decided together that every time they changed speakers, we'd change as well. So it was very dynamic and very fast-paced. It was good. Bam, like you say, it was very fast, very nice, and everything went smooth because not only the speaker changing helped, but also the fact that we wouldn't talk on top of each other because we'd see the mic of the other person going red, for example. Then I knew I could talk.
Okay, bam.
And that was excellent because we didn't have much to say. We had the WhatsApp going on for message exchange, but I think we've used it like 3 times within an hour. Is that it?
Yeah.
I think so. I think we haven't used that feature as much during the interpreting, so it was excellent.
Okay. So you had to be attentive to the mic. Because you know what? I know in Zoom the screens move around to the person who's talking, right? So
yes.
Did you select to have Carlos's screen stay always on, or do you see in the bottom of that little interpreter button you see a mic on just on that button?
What I did, it made it easy for me because we were also exchanging the language channels. You click on participants, and when you click on participants, a list of all participants going to show on your right side of the screen.
Okay.
And then next to your name, you're going to have a flag that represents the language you're talking at the moment. So it indicates what channel you're in. And then I could see when he changed channels and when he muted this mic. So it was very interesting because we also had to change channels because sometimes someone in Portuguese would speak and we'd have to translate that into English to the rest.
Okay.
And then the other way around as well. So it was interesting, very dynamic.
You guys had 2 channels that were opened up for interpreter channels. One was Portuguese. And
you are assigned to a pair. So you work on that pair. You are assigned to a pair. We were assigned to Portuguese, English, and then we could switch from one to the other.
Just so I understand, so you can see Carlos and we can see you. And when you were on, your mic came on green, or red, should I say? And then
when I was on, it is a little gray, and then when it's off, it's red. Crossed.
Yeah, crossing. Okay. So you would look at that, you would keep that chat open to see Carlos always. You would see it in real time and it would stay on the screen so you were able to see when he was stopping to talk.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so that's a good mechanism that you guys created both ways. And and you changed when the speaker was changing short speaking a short speech, you would just change interpreters.
Exactly. Anna is saying that we should schedule a test with the hot sauce interpreters, and I fully agree. We could arrange a session with that, and everyone's going to give it a try. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I think that's cool. I think that we would really like to use that, the hot sauce interpreters, and whoever else would like to join in on that. But yeah, okay. So what else did you see? What was your experience? What else? I mean, those were the pros. What were some of the cons, the things that were more like a downside for you?
I think that the downsides, they differ from the real boost, but they are there. The split attention is an issue, and I think it's a little bit higher when you are RSIing. That was a new verb. When you are RSIing, your split attention has to go up because you have to pay attention to more stuff, pay attention to the screen, pay attention to the discourse, to the rendition, and you cannot listen to your partner. That's something, because when we are working together, we kind of know when to take over or when to help, and at that moment I just couldn't do it, and he couldn't do it. We found other ways, of course. There's the WhatsApp, but it's just a way around because this is not an RSI platform. It's something that is working as an RSI, as a solution, but it's not made for it.
Yeah, I'll just add something to that, because I spoke with another colleague, and what we did, we were on another platform, not the Zoom. And what we did is we had open.
Which one was that?
Pardon?
Which one?
Well, I won't name out because we had a negative experience on it. But what happened was that me and my partner decided to open up a FaceTime separately. So that saved us in that particular situation. it saved us because we knew what was going on because we had FaceTime to communicate as well. But that's another, a bypass to get around. So I'm guessing that would work as well. Whether, like you said, you started getting used to watching the mic change color, and you guys had established that when the speaker was finished, boom, you change. Even if it was a 5
Yes,
no matter who and how long the
exactly.
speaker was, you were changing.
Yes, we had agreed that we didn't know how much time the person would talk through for. I mean, and when the person when we saw that it was going to be dynamic, we changed it. But we had decided before that we'd give a 20-minute gap between trading, changing interpreters, and by the time it would be 19 minutes, we'd look at each other's mic and then change.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what we had decided, but that didn't have to happen.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Okay. I mean, like, I see Anna there because she's, I like her point of view on a lot of things, and she shares a lot. I see, like she's saying there's a workaround. Obviously, there's always a workaround, whether it be WhatsApp or FaceTime or something. It's not a true solution. I think
it is not.
Agree, Anna, because I think that Anna's, she's a real pro and probably has a lot more experience than I do.
Yes.
So, I understand that there can be that point of view. Like, we're being realistic here that it's not the ideal platform for interpreters. We understand that. Now, but what I'm thinking is that Zoom becomes a very interesting platform to, if it does adapt itself well to the circumstances, it could be a game changer. This is what I was discussing with a few other, the hot sauce interpreters. We were saying this could be a cog in the wheel, or it could be a wrench in the cog. It could be a game changer. And that's what we were saying as interpreters. We're always saying that, they keep cutting us, the agencies cut us, the prices are going down. But if we cut that middleman out, then we're a gang of interpreters getting together, networking together. And I don't want to, I love agencies. Most of my work comes
they
from
give
agencies.
us most of our work, yes.
They're always have their place, right? And it's a good thing. But if I'm going to work with another interpreter and I know that I could do the assignment with another interpreter that I just decide to pair with because I like that interpreter and I get to choose that interpreter, and that's what
just like today, Abe. Thank you so much. It was excellent.
Exactly. So
yes,
I think with the RSI, we're getting the opportunity to choose our partner more than we would have had we been with the agency who picks his own, obviously the vendor manager wants to pick his favorite interpreter. I totally understand that. We all like to work with our favorite people, right? But isn't it more important that the interpreters work with the person he wants to work with because he knows that he gets along with an interpreter?
Whenever possible, I believe so.
When possible. So I just want to read what Anna said. We are all together in learning. Mike, Zoom can be used specifically for short meeting. Yeah, the short meeting. I agree.
Yes, but especially because when you have a large meeting, it's important that we have very good technicians in place. We have all the structure because if anything happens and you are the interpreter, you cannot just walk out of the virtual booth and get to solve stuff.
Exactly.
It's so important. When you have something small like we did today, I think Zoom serves ideally.
Okay.
So I think that's the big difference. When we have something big, go for something big.
Yeah, okay.
Something bold that can really hold it.
That still has to be
Edubano, I can't believe you're here. How are you?
That's interesting to see how big is big. We're going to find out, right? Because I discussed this scenario with hot sauce interpreters where we were saying that let's say me and you, we decide we're going to work together on an assignment. I agree to work with you. You're working with me. And we hire a third interpreter to be taking care of the administration of closing the mics, opening up the mic. So we work as a team of three.
Yes, and one will be definitely the technician.
Exactly.
We've discussed that before, yes.
One needs to have access, like, because I know that Zoom, you can have access as the host, you're the main host owner. But if you have a professional,
the co-host.
Exactly. You can have many people who have access to the controls. Now, that being said, if we have a third interpreter who acts as the technician for that, now, obviously, it's not perfect again because we can't control what's happening on the camera side with the client in the middle of his conference. They're moving the laptop. They have a cheap, camera, a cheap microphone, and we don't have control over that. So, but I think that we speak to the client. We say, listen, these are the limitations.
if you're going to give me a camera, please get yourself a HD camera, a good quality camera, and get a good microphone so that the interpreter can, so, you know, you fix that up with your client, right? Now, that being said,
Yes.
if you have a good download, a good upload capacity, you know, and then you could serve your client well, then maybe those are
Yes.
little things that we can adjust as interpreters to work together. Let me just read the question here, Lingovox. Yes, that's true, but in my experience, interpreters have always been able to choose the partner together.
Not
Not
in
all the time.
Brazil.
Not all the
Not
time.
here.
Every
No.
once in a while, we don't get to choose them. And so, yeah.
I think
But,
we get to choose when we work with, in my case, when I work with my direct clients, I get to choose. But
yeah.
when I'm with agencies, I never had the chance to choose. Sometimes I can point and indicate someone from another pair, but so can I work with someone
Yeah.
such and such? No, this has never happened.
Well, it's
Is
happened
there
to
a way
me.
we can have Abby together here in threes? I don't know. Can we
Can we what? B?
have Abelera together in
No,
three
no. We
in a
can only,
threes? No.
on
Oh,
Instagram, you can only have two people talking at the same time. So
okay.
yeah. So for my case, I've had the opportunity of working with agencies that have asked me, do you prefer working with a partner? Yeah, and I do, and sometimes I don't. So you know, it's a give and take. So yeah, that's it. Let's see here. Carlos
Hi,
says,
Louise.
hi. You cannot control client-side decisions like the internet speed and equipment that participants use. Yeah, but other platforms are
That's
pushing
true.
that. Like, let's say Kudos. Kudos takes control of that, and they'll specify that they want, special upload capacity, download capacity, and they kind of have control over the circumstances in the meeting. You know what I mean? So certain platforms will be better at it. Like we were talking about Interprefy, we're talking about Kudos, we're talking about Intercito or other platforms, Ablio, whatever the platform is. I think all of those platforms have controllers or something like that, administration, you know?
True. In
So that
case of
is,
Zoom, for example, when we had 40 people today, what happened was we had all the gear, the microphones, the Blue Yeti and the Blue Yeti he has, and I use my Plantronics. So we were all geared up, fine, good internet, cable internet speed, fine, but there were people in the call that were using their cell phones. There were people in the call
yeah,
using wireless or very
yeah.
bad microphones. So we are always subject to those. I mean, if you have so many people wanting to talk, they should also be prepared, but they're not always. So these could jeopardize your work because you probably not be able to listen to them talk. And then how are you going to give your rendition in them?
Yeah,
So this
exactly.
is important. We have to brief the client, let them know what the needs are, what the minimum requirements are, because we cannot be in fault to the client because someone in the meeting couldn't do their part. You see,
Yeah,
it's so
exactly,
important.
exactly. Hey, listen, can I bring in? I want to bring in Robin
Sure.
doing a request. I thank you so much for
Hi, Robin.
your
You're
valuable
very
time,
welcome.
and
Very, very welcome.
yeah,
Let's schedule something together with the
yeah,
Zoom, and then we can
definitely.
test it out.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch, and we'll stay in touch with Carlos and see how we can make that work out for the gang. And I'm definitely going to jump on that opportunity with you. So, okay, so Robin, I'm going
Sure.
to bring you in. Thank you very much.
Carlos, thank you again. And
Yeah.
Mike, bam!
Thank you so much. Bam. Hashtag
Bye.
Podcast Interpreters. Okay. So, Robin, let me try to bring you in here. Okay, Robin, make a request to come in. Okay, let's see here. Robin. Let me try to bring in Robin. Robin, where's Robin? Oh, there he is. Okay, Robin. Okay, I'm bringing you in, Robin. Let's see if that works out.
Hey, what's up?
Bam! Hashtag God's Interpreter. How you doing, Robin?
Good, Mikey. How are you, man?
I am doing awesome. So,
Dude, I noticed that our groups have exploded. I haven't read through the comments, and I saw you live, and I just caught the tail end of it. So I'm sorry to ask, but go from the beginning.
okay,
What
so
did you talk about?
Okay, so I'll just say from the get-go, the reason I had started with Carlos is I knew that he had done a Zoom conference, right? And he had a Zoom conference with a partner. So I wanted to know how that turned out because we've been discussing as Hot Sauce Interpreters, the gang, you know, how Zoom is an interesting platform, right?
and I wanted to hear the pros and the cons of what had happened in their, like Carlos says, the founding fathers. Yeah, that's right, man. The founding fathers. You see, the founding fathers of hot sauce interpreters. You know what I mean? Anyways, yeah. So
The dynamic duo here, guys.
come on, man. That's right. That's right. So so that was the point of discussion. Is I wanted to hear from these two interpreters, from interpreters' point of view, how they liked or disliked, and they're seeming to say that they liked it. You know, there's a few glitches. There's a few glitches. The handover, you can't hear your booth mate, but there's ways to get around it. Now, if because I actually invited Zoom to be on this live tonight. They didn't respond, but I had tagged them, their IG account. I tagged them here, so it would have been fun to get the directly from the horse's mouth. But so this was the whole discussion, and it seems to be very positive. And I think that if Kudos gets around fixing these, I think it's going to be a very interesting platform to cut out the middleman. You know, Zoom, that Zoom will be able to cut out the middleman. Now, if there are agencies here, understand me. Like, I love agencies. I have agencies that hire me, and I have great relationships with agencies. But I also do have my personal clients, and many of us do have our own personal clients. So we are looking for a way to serve our clients. And, we're all businessmen and businesswomen, and we're in this for, we make good money. And if we can make extra money, that's even better, right? So if Zoom is going to be one of those platforms that's going to offer something to us interesting, as we discussed between the founding fathers of hot sauce interpreters, we discussed that the ideas are very interesting. And, that we get to pick our own interpreters. We know who we work with. We know who are the good interpreters, who are our preferred. We all, hey, listen, we won't say it publicly, but, we all have our preferred partners, right? Which is normal. You get along with some interpreters and some interpreters you don't. And that's fine, because everybody has different character. Not everybody likes that, bam, hashtag hot sauce interpreter at your side, all excited like me. You know what I mean? But then again, I don't always like the little mousy interpreter who's just like, spacing out their décalage so wide that I'm freaking out listening out to their décalage. You know what I mean? So we all have our preferences. So what's your point of view, Mr. Rockstar Interpreter? Let me hear you.
My point of view is this: is when I told you, I sent this to you, and you started the ball. And I thank you so much for starting this. When I sent it to you, my observation is, if I'm a client, meaning I'm a company. Let's name a company, Johnson and Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay. Huge company. They sell pharmaceuticals, et cetera, et cetera. A company like Johnson and Johnson will have the Zoom Business Suite.
Exactly.
Right. They'll have their own thing. So they don't need to hire an agency that has their own platform.
Exactly.
Right? But they can hire an agency that doesn't have a platform and tell the agency, look, for us to save money, let's use Zoom. Right? And if we know how to use Zoom, we as the interpreters, then no problem. We'll continue to work with the agencies, right?
Yeah.
But without using their proprietary platform. Now,
exactly,
99.9% of all the agencies worldwide are micro businesses that have 2, 3, 4, 5 people. That's it, right? And then we are hired as freelancers to work, and they make money on top of us, and that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's fine. My argument is, if I were a client, if I were a corporation, why would I hire an agency that has a platform? Why don't I just use Zoom? And that's what I see Zoom. That's how I see Zoom taking over, right?
But let me just say a caveat on that. Is that, like, example, I know for Kudos is selling their license to, let's say, an in-house company, and they bought their platform for the inside of the company. They even have their own specialized interpreters, because I heard that scenario. So, companies can buy the Kudos or any other platform they want to buy and decide to use that. So, in this case for us, whether it be Zoom, whether it be Kudos, it doesn't matter what that company is going to use. That will be their decision, right? But we need to be able to offer that. So go on, friend.
No, that's great. That's fantastic. How is this new Zoom project going to affect the startups the companies, the i.e. the Kudos, the Interprifys, those, how is this going to affect their business model? You know, I'm not against everybody having their own platform. On the contrary, and as an interpreter, and to all of you out there, I recommend that you all sign up to all these individual places.
I've signed up to all of them. I mean, all of them. I've gotten responses from certain, have given me good responses. It got the, whatever, the certifications and all that. And I've used 3 of them up to now. They're all amazing. They're all good.
Yeah.
I loved all of them. They were very good.
That's fantastic. But as a client, as a corporation, as a Procter and Gamble, for example, why would I hire another platform if I can use Zoom? Because I have the Zoom business suite. So I'll take advantage of that, right?
Okay.
And
Wait,
so,
I'm just saying a little comment here from Carlos. Another Carlos said you can offer Kudos as an interpreter directly to your customer. Yeah, I know there's that option, but it involves a cost.
Yes.
So I think that we were just arguing the fact that we're trying to make this the most cost effective for the interpreter.
Correct. And so that we can earn as much as we can. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Because we are getting cut down. I mean, I had this discussion last week with another interpreter actually, where I think the agencies or the platforms may be price gouging at us in a way, because they are using, especially the different countries. I was working with an interpreter. I'm here in Canada, Quebec, and I had a booth partner who was in France, and we discussed offline, and I was making double the rate he was.
Wow.
Now that's not cool.
Wow.
That's not cool. So that means they are playing us on our rates, right? So there obviously, time will tell, and the rates will adjust themselves. But let's hope that the rates won't go, comme on dit en français, à la baisse. We don't want them to go lower. We want them at least to stay the same, right?
Absolutely.
And some would even argue that interpreting RSI is even more cognitively difficult than it is being in the booth, because there's more stuff involved, right? So that could be a whole discussion in itself. But so we certainly don't want the prices going lower, but they are going lower right now. And,
Sure.
Some that have a backbone are standing up against that, and I understand that. But the truth is, I was speaking with I won't name the interpreter. I don't want to embarrass them, but they're online here. They would recognize themselves, saying that when you need work, you're ready to go lower, and when push comes to shove, you need food on the table, and I know many of us do. I mean, I'm lucky. I have another sideline. I have another job, so I have multiple streams of income, and I recommend that for every interpreter, by the way. You shouldn't be just relying on interpreting, have translation, have whatever else, but have a backup plan. Anyways, that's a whole nother subject. But we need to realize that we are sometimes ready to go lower, and we don't want the clients or the agencies getting used to that, because then they'll just say, like the other, I had one platform saying, well, they're offering, their rate was 50 euros an hour, or $100, 100 euros an hour working solo. Now, for me, 50 euros, that's pretty low. That's like half what I usually would charge, per hour, right? But when push comes to shove, and we're asked to price or give a rate per hour, how low can we go? That's what they're going to ask, right? So some of us will say, well, listen, I'm not going to go lower than $150 Canadian, or like I heard one interpreter say, whether I do 1 hour or 3 hours, there's a minimum charge. Well, but what happens when the guy tells you, or the agency or the vendor manager says, well, you're too expensive? Are you going to kick them to the curb and say, well, bye-bye, and or are you going to take it? So
that brings me to another question. If we do this with our own clients, how do we collect?
Well, I mean, I have my personal clients, and I collect them. It doesn't change the way I'm collecting them.
Right.
Well, what about you? I don't know. Is there something I don't know? Or when I send a bill, I send my bill, and I expect either I have either an arrangement, 30 days, 60 days, or whatever, with my clients, and some of my clients, even some of the agencies I work with, they'll pay me in the next few days. I have a good relationship with them,
So do you see this more as us learning the platform and continuing the applications with our our agencies, our local agencies? Do you think you see the
Yeah, I
Zoom
see what you mean.
situation working more with our local agencies? Is it,
You know
you
what?
know what
I'm
I
here.
mean?
I am. You know, like I know a few of my clients are not actually translation interpreting agencies. They're audio visual companies. Okay,
Right.
and they're
Right.
often the middleman. The audio visual guys will hire me, and they become the agency contracting the freelance interpreters.
So would it be a good idea to contact your audio agencies, the people that set up the booth, the engineering,
Yeah,
et cetera, contact them and tell them, look, I am using Zoom.
yeah.
Are you using Zoom? I'll continue to work with you and for you
Well, you know what?
if you don't mind me using Zoom, right?
You know what? I hadn't thought of that, and that's a very good point. That's a very good point.
Right.
Um, but then again, we're bringing back a middleman. You know, so
But that's okay.
but
That's
that's
okay.
okay
You can.
because they'll have the volume of work right coming in.
Yes, yes, yeah. I mean, exactly. They'll have the volume of work, and then you can kind of set it up so that well, you're working constantly, like
Yeah,
we were physically working, because they're the ones that get us to work physically
yeah,
in the booth, and they can continue doing business. They can
yeah.
continue making money on top of us. They
Oh
can
yeah,
buy
yeah. Everybody.
they
I mean,
can
the
buy
agency.
they're the ones that can buy the business suite and
Yes,
have an engineer checking
exactly.
us out and working
Yeah,
with us. And I think that way we won't lose as much business
that's true.
and go into the new platforms, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We can go into them slowly. Does that make sense?
It does. You know what? And that's a very valid point. That's a great point, actually. I hadn't thought of it that way, and um, I'm wondering. I don't know if the you know what? I'm gonna call that audio visual company that I usually work with, and I'm gonna ask them that question. That's a very good. I hadn't thought of that because they're obviously going to be clients that are going to be interested in those different platforms. Like I know very well, there's one of the companies that I work for, an agency. They're a translation interpreting company that specializes in linguistics, and I know that they bought a platform, and I know which one, and they know that I've learned the ropes on that platform as well, and I actually got called from that company. So yeah, so I think there are some companies already that have jumped on the bandwagon and are ahead of the curve. Probably that the language companies are ahead of the curve, ahead of the audio visual companies, and that's a good point because you know what? Yeah, I think we could include them in on the loop, and maybe you know what? Maybe in that case, maybe the rates would stay practically the same. You're just changing the mode, right? You're just changing the.
Bingo, 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 bingo. The
That's a
rates will
very
stay the
good,
same.
yeah,
Yeah.
interesting option too. Yeah, of course.
So as the two founding members of Hot Sauce Interpreters, why don't we put together a letter and send it to Zoom? See if we can get like linguist Ahmed mentioned, maybe we can get a little demo going for a few weeks and we can test it out amongst ourselves. What do you say?
That could be. Somebody was saying that they know that Zoom is getting a lot of interpreters calling them and contacting them. So maybe they're already overloaded. Hey, Robin, just let me check it because I saw that I missed a whole section of questions. I just want to make sure that we could try to get through a few of the questions that popped up and I missed them. Let's see here because I had stopped the feed, so I wasn't seeing it move anymore. I thought nobody was talking anymore, but let me see here. So Anna says, I believe these will be different events. Big events will use interpreter-centered platforms, and smaller businesses and meetings will use other solutions. Agreed. Another one said, Carlos is saying, but it's better to wait for a $100 job than to commit to 10 jobs for $10 each. Yeah, it's true. You want to have a selection of a higher paying job and you'll wait for it. Rudy says we should quote half the day or full days. Well, some are actually already requesting that. Are you ready to go half day, full days, or hours? Another route again, half day being 3 hours and a full day 6 hours. Carlos, agree half day or full day or hourly. Lingovox, hey guys, I've spoken with Mike before about agency standards and I advocate for interpreters to get as many direct clients as possible, but not all agencies are substandard or unfair to their interpreters. That's true. PayPal, okay, Rudy was saying that you could get paid by PayPal, credit card, Venmo, or Square. Yeah, that depends on. I get paid most of the time by e-transfer. I request e-transfer.
Kudos pays by e-transfer as well as direct deposit. So Rudy says again, I asked for half up front. Yeah, we're talking about the rates being paid and ahead. Monique says I also collect them. What else here? Lingovox interpreters again. It comes to one's choice of working with agencies that respect them. Okay. And it's a mix, Robin. We'll be bringing some clients to the platforms and others will have their own solutions. Okay, I'm just going to stop here because there's one point here that kind of worries me a bit. And maybe it's just due to the fact that we don't understand how the platforms are going to be working with us. Like, I know that, example, Kudo keeps pushing that they're not an agency, but they have a roster. If you want, they will provide you with interpreters if they ask them. So essentially, they are still becoming an agency in a way. Now, the other thing is, if I decide to bring my client, like I have this exact situation. One of my yearly clients who comes back every year because they have a big MLM conference every year in a big hotel is not doing it this year because of the COVID, right? So now that company came up to me and says, Mike, okay, we're not doing it, but we're considering to do RSI. What platform are you recommending to us? I'm still hesitant to bring my client to use Kudo. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
I'm still not totally confident that what if, I don't know, a glitch in the system, a miscommunication, and they give my client to another interpreter. So there's a little bit of, unsure. So when Anna says that, that's yes, but no, that kind of still worries me. Carlos says, anyways, using Zoom costs less. Yes. Setting up booths and cables and audio. Nightborn says it's expected for interpreters to have the programs needed to interpret. The agencies don't need to provide the platforms. That's true as well. Maybe that could be on our end to pay for Zoom and, included in our charge. That's totally valid too. MyPro says the tech SAB Terps are ahead. So many pieces of advice would be for Terps to study and get to know how to operate platforms to be the name to be remembered. Obviously, I mean, that's what we want, right? We took the certifications, we have all the names, we took the stamp, and we're promoting it. We're already being a promotion machine for these big companies, right? Anna says, I've been trying to onboard AV partners to platforms, even doing pro bono interpreting during them. Exactly. I've been doing those pro bonos too, Ann, so they can follow, since most don't speak English. Let's see here. Hello to a few people popped in. I see there's two Carlos here. Okay, so I'm at the end of that feed. Okay, so we have 15 more minutes. So, Robin, what do you want to add to that? Or what
I don't know, Mike. Can you wire $1,000 to me?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't do that for you. Not at this point. Not at this point. But,
No.
You know what? Hey, someone just offered. Would you mind, Anna? Do you mind if I cut you off, Robin, and I bring Anna on?
Absolutely, absolutely. Go ahead, man.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a great night.
So I'm going to cut
Bye.
you out, and I'm going to bring in for the last. Let's see here. I'm going to bring in Anna. Yeah. Okay, so I'm bringing in Anna. She agrees. So thank you again, Robin. That was awesome sharing like that. I'm happy to see you, and I'll see what I can do about wiring $1,000 to you. Anna, again.
Hi, I'm looking horrible. I'm super
Today.
tired.
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
the
so
end of the day.
You have 15 minutes to sell your idea on what you think about this and your options. So go ahead.
No, I guess Monica, let me just change here to try to have a better lighting. Monica was just asking me to talk about Kudo. I'm not sure if I should talk about specific platforms here.
Yeah.
But, I do believe in interpreter-centered platforms. I've been working professionally with Interpretify and Kudo for some time now. I've been recently using Zoom with this group, with Abelera and Monica. We've been trying out we've been doing many mock-up meetings with Zoom. It works. It works. Yeah. It works better than others that workarounds. It works better. But it works for smaller meetings, You can't hear your partner. You don't have a good handover process like you do on Interpretify and Kudo. And so that's what I was talking, I was saying exactly that to Robin and you guys with regards to bigger events. Like when you have those big, investigator meetings with the big pharmaceuticals, they need to have a professional platform. So they're going to use interpreter-centered platforms.
Yeah.
You know, be it whatever you have in the market. But if you have smaller meetings with your clients, like you have, like, I don't know, a law firm, and they need to do an audit or something with a client, they can easily use WebEx on consecutive. They can use Zoom with simultaneous interpretation. So it works. I mean, you're going to have a mix. It's the same thing when we had, you know, on-site
Different
events.
agencies, exactly.
Yes, and when you have on-site events, you know, if you have like a super big client working at a 5-star hotel, and you're going to, of course, you know, put your best foot forward. You're going to have your best AV partner there, the one that has the best equipment. If you have a smaller thing, you have another type of equipment. And same thing will happen with these platforms. But the greatest advantage of all this is being able to work with people in other markets. You know, I've been able to have as booth mates people in Germany, people in Mexico, or in Buenos Aires. I can, you know, one of these days we're going to work together, the two of us, because I do have French in my language combination, so we can do, you know, French English interpretation.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. But we have to remember to respect our market and our market conditions, because, you know, maybe in Europe they're charging 500 euros for a full day. In Brazil, it's $350, $400.
Exactly.
So they're gonna miss jobs, you know, because of us.
Yeah.
But then, you know, you have another market that will charge even lower.
Okay, but
and then we're gonna miss that too.
That being said, like I'll name them Ablio. Okay, Ablio decided to make an even level playing field for everybody, whether you be in Brazil or Canada, which I find interesting. I find it's a bit low, but at least they're making a level playing field for everybody.
Exactly.
Which I think is, anyway, that's going to happen, right? In this world market of hiring interpreters across the world, I don't think it's fair. Like, you know, kudos, you know, great for me. I got, you know, whatever amount that I got, but then my partner who was in France was making half what I was making on the very same assignment. We were working together. So that's not fair, right?
That's not fair.
But the agency knew that. They knew it. They knew it in their pocket. So at one point, it's going to be interesting to see how this is all going to level out, right?
And we make our prices now. I mean, for the agencies, I have like a table right next to my computer, because I keep forgetting, you know, because maybe, you know, Kudu is paying me one thing and Interprefy is paying me another thing. I have a table, and I stop. Yes, and I have to stop and think back. Oh my God, why didn't I charge more to this platform than I am charging?
Or you make a mistake, and you send the cheaper price, and you say, "Oh man,
oh my God,
it was the wrong one."
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like it's a tougher world, but it's also more competitive, and we have better chances. If you're a good interpreter, if you're well trained, if you have the nice hardware to work with, questions to work, and if you network right, like you guys are doing, like Hot Sauce Interpreters, like Catálogo de Intérpretes, like all the associations. I belong to APIC, I belong to APIC. If you network correctly, if you do your job correctly, you will have more opportunities.
Exactly. And networking, I keep saying it, or I have been saying even louder lately, is that networking is so important, because I created, you know, with Hot Sauce Interpreters, you know, it's not an association. We don't have a fee or anything. We're just a band, a tribe of brothers and sisters who are passionate about interpreting, and we've come together, and you know what? Some of us are making money together. And I find that amazing. And that's great. I would love to work. I'd rather work with an interpreter that I know, right? You're a friend. I hope one day I get to work with you, you know. I might be embarrassed a bit of my French with, you know, such an amazing interpreter as yourself. But you know what? You got to put yourself out there, right? So, but if you're good at what you do, you know, the client's going to come back, right? So, yeah.
And thank you so much for sending work for Abelera and Monica. You know, I was so happy to hear that.
Man. Yeah,
it was super. You know, I love these guys. They're great. They've been working super hard, you know, helping out everyone here in Brazil with all the platforms and stuff. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and thank you for being so present. It's cool, man. I think we're gonna have to...
My God, I'm in my bed right now. I'm super tired.
No, my wife.
I was about to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And it's let's put on a live.
Carlos,
oh my God.
Carlos wants to hear a bit of French. Hey, Carlos, franchement, tu veux nous entendre parler français, là? Tu veux-tu entendre parler du québécois ou du français européen?
Mais c'est du québécois, et moi, je parle de parisien, donc voilà.
Mais oui, mais c'est parfait. Je peux rajouter un peu d'accent si tu veux, hein. C'est un peu comme
être un acteur. Moi aussi, je peux parler du québécois.
Ouais, c'est ça. Mais le québécois, c'est hey, hein? Ah ouais, Allah, come on, let's go. Hein? Ici, pis lit.
Le québécois, c'est comme le Jersey accent. It's completely different.
New Jersey. But I admit, I have to put on a very nicer, more proper French. But, you know, we're just having fun here between interpreters. But thank you so much, Anna, for coming on.
Thank you
And,
so much, Mike. You've been super. I love following you.
Thank you.
Great to meet Robin. First time I see a live video with Robin. Great to see
He's a
the
great
founding
guy.
fathers, like Abelira said.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
You guys have a great evening. I have to go to bed. I'm super tired.
Thank you for coming on.
I'll see you all tomorrow.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so I have another 10 minutes here. And let's see who's gonna want. Ouais, c'est ça. Comme Monique a dit, mon Québec français, mon français québécois. Là. So who else can I bring on here? Okay, somebody make me a request to come on here. We have a few minutes left here. I'm seeing, right, we're 21 people, man. Hello to everybody who's on tonight. That is so awesome. Thank you so much for participating. I'm scrolling through the questions to see if there's anything I missed out. Oh, I see Estudio Maz asking Ablio a universal rate. I'm not, I don't want to affirm 100%, but I think what I understood about Ablio is that the rate is universal. So I think I haven't got a gig from them, Okay, and I want to put a little point on that because, sometimes I got in trouble saying gig. They don't like the gig economy, the gig that, but, just between us guys, like a bunch of, musicians, they call it a gig, right? So I tell my wife I'm going on a gig tonight, So I don't mean no disrespect, so sometimes I'll say assignment to be a bit more proper. Okay, so somebody's making a request here. Okay, let's bring him back on. Carlos. All right, Carlos, we still have 10 minutes to go before our, maybe a bit less. It's going to cut it. Okay, Carlos, you're going to have the last words, man. We have about less than 10 minutes left. So shoot the breeze, man. Come on.
There's a whole discussion. Yeah, you mentioned the gig thing, and I think a gig is trying not to call it remote, but rather distance interpreting.
Distance.
I like the term, but it's like reinventing the wheel.
I like it.
Yeah, I like the term, but I mean, you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
It is remote, and why call it distance if it is distance and remote at the same time? Are we going to go for remote and distance interpreting?
I always use RSI, remote RSI. I use the hashtag R1NT. I like using that in my posts. So whatever sticks,
so,
right?
Yeah. So a few things here. One thing that I find to be very important, and as I said, that's what worked for me and Monica and a few Terps down here in Brazil, and I think it's going to work for you, is educating our clients. I mean, calling our clients, sending out emails, and telling them, listen, we do have a platform. If you want, we can keep up our partnership going. We just have to, here's a demo. Man, we are going to go together. We are going to use Zoom together, right? I got carried away. We are going to use Zoom together. We're going to record a video of maybe you interpreting into French or English or what have you, and then maybe Robin interpreting into Spanish, and then Monica or Anna interpreting into English or French or whatever. We record a video, right? And we send out to my, Robin's, whoever's clients, belonging to our group, of course. We can make it a private video, whatever.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Because we're a network. Yeah.
We are a network. And the best part of this is that your clients, you are going to wow your clients.
Yeah.
Right? As I've said, the gig I had today is a result of an email that I sent last Friday.
Wow.
The client although the client had Zoom, the client has Zoom, they do have the pro account, but they didn't know how the interpreting thing worked.
Uh-huh.
So,
you're going to have to send me a copy of that email so I could use it as a template.
Absolutely, man. And then Monica was of so much help because she knows all the ins and outs of Zoom, and I'm the type of guy that learns by practice. If I don't if I don't put my hands on it, I don't learn how to do it.
Exactly.
So I'm still learning. Yeah, I'm still learning. I'm still touch basing things, and this is my piece of advice for everyone, guys. Work together with your clients. Send emails. They don't know. Some of them don't know that Zoom offers RSI or that other platforms offer RSI. They think the only thing they know is face-to-face interpreting.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Yeah. And you have to work together with your clients, right?
Exactly.
Lopez San Juan, email it to me, please. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be personal. What worked for me is that I made it personal. I didn't send an email to a client saying, like the client was on BCC and was a general email to all of my clients.
Yeah.
No,
it was
it was
personalized. Yeah.
customized to the clients. Hey, John. It's Carlos here. You remember me? We worked together on Cooperation America 2017. In 2017, I was your interpreter. We now are switching to online interpreting or RSI or what have you.
Yeah.
Here's a demo. I've recorded a demo for you. Here's a demo. When do you know?
Wait just a minute. I just want to say there's 1 minute and 52 seconds left. I just want to, I don't think I'm not going to hop on for another hour. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. It was awesome, Carlos. Thank you to everybody who participated. Thank you for the friendship. Thank you for connecting. Keep on following hashtag Hot Sauce Interpreters, hashtag 1NT book referrals. If you guys have books out there that are related to translating and interpreting, please use the hashtag 1NT book referrals. Keep using the hashtag Hot Sauce Interpreters. We are a great community. We've become great friends. We're networking together. We're helping each other out. We're selling each other. We're promoting each other. And I think that when you help your fellow interpreter have success, what you make happen for them, God will make happen for you, whatever you want to call it. I like to say that it's God who blesses me, and I believe in God. So I'm going to say I am blessed because I have become a blessing to bless others. So for the last 55 seconds, I'll let Carlos finish off with the last word. You have exactly 46 seconds. Go, Carlos.
Thank you truly, madly, deeply for having me. I'd like to thank each and all of the Hot Sauce interpreters out there. All of us are, if you have a passion and love for your profession, if that's what you love doing, that's what you wake up for, to, and on, and in, and about, you are a Hot Sauce interpreter. So don't forget to join the talk and share your passion and love with hashtag Hot Sauce Interpreters. Mike, your energy, please.
Come on. Bam! Hashtag Hot Sauce Interpreters. And S. Lopez, I know you recorded this. You need to connect with me. I have 5 seconds left. It was an amazing evening. Everybody to go to bed. Have a great time.